Hi everybody, it's Christina from Card Making Magic. This is what we're going to make today. It's a Tealight candle holder that's part of a card, and you can make it for any occasion. So why not make it as a little gift for Christmas? Use your Christmas colours, put your candles in to match, and you can also dye your ribbon to suit your colour scheme. Or another alternative is to do it in a nice colour scheme. This is blue and brown, and if you don't have candles that match your scheme, then why not put some chocolates in a little bag and put them into the side where you would put the Tealight candles. Now this is a product called seam binding, and it's very popular at the moment. It's very cheap, it's very pliable, and you can dye it to any colour that you want. You can either use your distressing inks, or if you have alcohol pens, you can use those as well. So this is the seam binding, and this is a Pro marker pen, but you can use any alcohol pens that you've got. I'm using a glass mat, but if you don't have a glass mat, just put it on some copier paper. And I would also suggest that you wear a rubber glove, because it's an alcohol marker pen, which means it's permanent and it will mark your fingers. So all you're going to do is just run your pen along the ribbon until you've done as much or as little as you want. But at the moment it is wet, so once you've done it, you will need to put it on one side, probably overnight, and leave it to dry. Now I did say it is a permanent marker, but because this is a glass mat, it won't wipe off unless you use some cleaning fluid. This is alcohol blending solution, so a little squirt will bring it off your glass mat, and there you have it, back to pristine condition. So the first thing we're going to do to practice making this card and to keep it for future reference is to make a template, and you will need a large piece of card. This is a 14 by 14 piece of card, and you're going to cut out a square that is 12 inches by 9 inches so that you're left with that piece of card. So we'll just refer back to the template now. From the top and the bottom, you're going to measure 3/4 of an inch from the top and the bottom, and just make a mark. Now I've colour coordinated these lines so that you'll be able to see what the measurements are, and I'm working in inches. So from the left hand side you're going to measure in 1/2 inch. The next one, the blue line, is at 1 1/4 inches. The green line is at 2 3/4 inches, and the yellow line is at 3 1/2 inches. Now once you've got those and you've scored them, ready to crease and press, if you fold it in, from that yellow line, you're going to measure in 5 inches from the yellow line. Now once you've measured in from the yellow line to 5 inches, from the yellow line to the right hand side, you're going to remove that 3/4 of an inch strip that you made, so that your card ends up that shape. Now the next bit of measuring that you're going to do is to measure from the left hand edge. There's your 1 1/4 line, the blue one. So you're going to measure in to 1 1/2 inches, then you're going to measure another inch to 2 1/2 inches, and there's your 2 3/4 line, and then 1/2 inch from the top and 1/2 inch from the bottom, and this is the bit that you're going to remove. You're also going to take out little notches from the bottom. So what you need to do is cut up to your 3/4 line there and take out a little notch on each side. That will just make it easier for your box to fold and close. On the end piece, this little bit is superfluous to your needs. So you can just remove that. You don't need the end piece. So once you've removed that and you've done all your measuring and your trimming, this is the card that you will end up with. So if you put some very strong double-sided tape around each edge, you're going to need a piece of acetate that will fill that gap and stick it in place. So once you've got your acetate in place and you've scored and folded all your pieces in, I've just added some wet glue along that edge, and that's the bit that's going to stick down into your card. So if you close it up, and then you can see whereabouts you want this edge to be, you're just going to add it to your card. And you'll need to wait just a few seconds until the glue bites. And then once you've done that, there's the basis for your card. So once your glue's dry and your little box is ready for your tea lights, this is where you can now start to add your tea lights. And these tea lights smell of lavender and vanilla. So they all fit in. You'll get 5 into the box, and then what you're going to do is use a little bit of wet glue, and you're going to fold and close each end to the box. So this is the colour scheme I've chosen for my card. I thought we'd do it in a nice pale lemon and lilac. I've dyed my ribbon with my pro markers to suit my project. I've got a little topper and a sentiment, and I've made some butterflies, flowers and leaves, and I've got some brads to match. Now if you want to curl the stems on your flowers, just take a barbecue stick or a cocktail stick, and you're just going to wind the extra stem around your stick, and then when you slide it off, you have the curl in your stems. Now if you find that the card is a little tight going in there, you can always trim off this edge so that it fits neatly along your tea light holder. So now we're going to mat and layer the panels, and whatever I do to the front I'm also going to do for the inside. So lay your card, leaving a little edge around 2 of the sides. Make 2 small marks and then trim that to fit that panel. Then mat and layer your second layer in the same way. I work from the back of the card if it's a fancy card, and then I don't spoil it, and trim those edges again. Having matted and layered the 2 panels up, I've added some double-sided tape to the back, and I've decided to go with the lilac ribbon, and I'm just going to add it to the tape and bring it round, make sure it's in the centre, and just stick it in place. Then a little bit more double-sided tape across there will just keep that ribbon in place. So with the wet glue now, I'm just going to add this to the card. Now this is photo glue, and if you make a mess on your best card, don't worry about it, because the beauty of this glue is that it just rubs off. So just keep rubbing, and eventually it all just disappears. It doesn't leave a mark on your card. So if you just happen to be a messy crafter, that's the glue to use. It's Pinflair photo glue, and it leaves your card nice and clean. So once you've added your glue, you're just going to now put that panel in place on the front of your card. And then with foam pads on the back of your topper, you can now just add your topper in place. Okay. So I've added the topper and the sentiment, and I'm now just going to have a dry run with the other elements that I want to add to the card. So I've folded some little ribbon up from the seam binding and I've added a pale lemon brad to it. I'm just going to put some things in place to see how they look and decide which bits I want on the card. And I've also made another bow and put a lemon brad in the middle of that, and that will go inside the card. So I shall go ahead now and stick these in place. So there we are with the finished card. The chosen elements are all glued in place. The tea lights are in the little box, and I've done the inside to follow the theme from the front. And that is a very pretty card to give to someone as a small gift.